welcome to this week's We Won, Let's Eat. I'm Lonnie Goldsmith, the editor of TCG Folk, joined again, as always, by Fancy Dinner Club's Bradley Maychov and Matt Erickson. We're gonna talk about the food for the one holiday you're not supposed to eat in, which seems a little bit weird, so maybe don't listen to this episode while you're fasting. You may get a little angry with us, and we don't want that. Yom Kippur, obviously the 25-hour, if you're being technical, is that about right? Fast?
Give or take.
Give or take?
Yeah, good enough.
Close enough, yeah. So, the break fast, though, to me, is one of my favorite food holidays. Not just because you haven't eaten all day, but to me, it's what we put out as hosts that really does it. We also don't, go quite as late, in the shofar blows. This year, around 7:20-ish, we will have eaten well before that at our house. But Matt,
I plan to be in bed by then. Life with a toddler, man. We're going to be eating and going to bed. That's happening.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I mean, break fast is interesting. We don't have a set tradition of what we do.
Okay.
So we've hosted one year. We've gone to my parents. We've gone to my in-laws. We've done it at Temple. All of the above, right? It's kind of what's going to be most convenient to someone willing to do it. So I don't have a specific food I associate it with. But my wife, and this was new to me when we started dating and we got married, she has to break it with soup every year. It has to be and specifically just broth. And it's some weird Russian superstition thing that it's going to just be better for their stomachs because if you throw heavy food in there right away, it's going to cause problems.
Yeah,
she might be onto something, but I don't
sense.
have the restraint to go for broth before something heavy.
No, I need food, usually a bagel first, slathered in cream cheese, and inhaled. Mm-hmm. And part of that stems from the fact that we host Breakfast, and we have for about 10, 11, 12 years now. And so we've been cooking all day from the time we get home from services. And it starts from the night before. We aren't Kol Nidre goers, so we are prepping food for the next day. And yeah, by the time people show up and we declare, the kitchen open, it's game on. I don't have time to wait for broth.
Yeah.
See, I also have broth. As I mentioned in episode 1, one of my favorite things is this tomato soup. That's Campbell's tomato soup. But it's the first, it's already boiling. It's already hot as soon as I walk in the door. So as soon as I get in, it's a literal mug of soup. It's served in mugs, not bowls. And there's a spoon and you just eat it, or you can just drink it out of the mug.
It's in a mug. Why do you need
Why do you need a spoon for? That
this is just more dishes.
Something dirty.
This
That's
is
ridiculous.
More dishes.
That's a great point, but I don't host, so I don't care.
Bread with the soup?
I don't think there is bread
No
available
grilled
now that I
cheese?
think about it. There's there's bagels and cream cheese also available. So that's what I use for the bread and cheese, among other things as well.
I feel like tomato soup, I need something with it whenever I have it.
It
can't just be on its own. You need croutons, you need something in there.
This apparently generic Campbell's tomato soup is good enough without it, though.
Campbell's, if you're listening, we're looking for sponsors.
Bring it.
Please, just donate some soup. Bradley will be thrilled.
Bradley needs soup. So I got to ask you this, though. Did it ruin your perception of what it was when you realized I could go to Cub with the change that's loose in my car and buy it?
A tiny bit, but I do think it's a little doctored up because there are actual chunks of tomato in it.
Okay.
Which maybe Campbell's does that as well.
So it's not the 69-cent one; it's the $1.09.
It is the so you may not be able to dig it out.
It's the deluxe tomato soup. A little bit, but it's just so good that I'm still going to eat it and still enjoy it, especially after not eating all day.
Yeah.
It's going to taste even better.
It's just one of those memories, right?
Yeah.
So no matter what it is, it's going to be better than what it is to anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we started hosting. It's a ton of work, but I'd rather host Breakfast than say Passover, which we've hosted also, and is just annoying. I don't want to host Passover. That's just not fun. Too much work. But we started hosting because, just finding, making sure we had a place to go. The easiest way to do it was to just host. And it started with, it was all people who were out of towners, all transplants who needed a place to go, and we had the transplant breakfast, and it's still sort of,
It's awesome.
yeah, and it's more or less maintained those roots over the years. We've gained some people, we've lost some people, to other situations, but hosting it is still, as much work as we put into the cooking of it. It's still one of my favorite Jewish traditions is hosting breakfast. And the aforementioned from episode 1, Blin Souffle, which I have written about and on TC Jewfolk, and there includes the recipe at the with the blessing of the author, who is a wonderful woman. Andrea, if you're listening, thank you for that.
It sounds like you should be reposting this recipe.
Oh no, it'll be in the show notes. Don't worry. We will. I have a tendency to push that article out every year because it really is one of my favorite things I make. But kugel, you both.
Oh, sweet or savory?
Sweet is okay. So what's is sweet like the Adath cheese kugel, or is it?
I've never had the Adath kugel, but I don't think it's the
Kugel's
cheese
good.
one. This is another family recipe one that only my mom makes great. Sorry, everybody else in our family who tries to make it. Lisa Erickson makes it better than you. So just stop trying. I don't know what it is about it. It's like the tomato soup for Bradley, right? It's the love that goes into it. It's that it's always been there. But it's just the cornflake, brown sugar topping, lots of cream and whatever dairy. I don't want to ruin the mystery, so I haven't actually been there while she makes it.
That's fair.
The other great thing about kugel, it reheats so good. So good. So in college, my mom would always send me back. We'd be home for the high holidays, and she'd send me back with a whole bunch of kugel. Because you just put it in a cooler, bring it, and it's like, oh, great, I have breakfast for a week. It's great.
I've had it reheated from frozen.
Yeah,
it's still great. Yeah,
Kugel's, it's a miracle food, guys.
I am actually. That was one of the things I meant to bring up in episode 1 too. Like, it is probably second place among my favorite Jewish foods. Kugel is great,
and we have it at all the holidays, so that's why I don't associate it with one thing. But I go for it fast at breakfast. Like, it's one of the first things I want.
Is it because? It sounds like it's because it's that good, but how much of it is because you're starving and you just want everything?
Yeah, my eyes definitely get big.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I end up taking more. I get there fast because I want a lot of it, so I don't want to wait till other people have gotten to it.
Corner piece or middle piece?
Both.
Oh.
Why am I choosing?
You don't have to describe.
You want the crispy part, but you also want just more.
I like an edge piece, not a corner, not a middle.
You want like okay.
I want an edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's different though. It's like a certain, and I think maybe the edge is the right way to go rather than corner, because the corner can be
too crispy
because you get both sides, and the corner gets a little much, but
a little dried out too.
Yeah, it gets a little dried out.
Yeah, they didn't do it right then.
No.
But the rest of it is
You've
good.
had my mom's kugel, Bradley. I'm sure you've had it.
I'm sure I have.
Right?
I've had a lot of kugel in my life.
All right.
No, my wife's kugel.
You'd remember this one, so if you haven't yet, my mom's going to change that. She's going to be very disappointed you haven't had it yet.
Please, Lisa Erickson.
Please send us some kugel. We'll take
Make me kugel.
Lisa Erickson, we're looking for sponsors. If you want to just send us kugel, we'll call you a sponsor.
My wife's kugel is it's a ton of just chopped up dried fruit.
Yeah.
With the noodles and more butter than she would care to know about. She prefers the cinnamon toast crunch topping.
Oh, that sounds good.
See, that's an interesting wrinkle on the
the
traditional cornflake. Traditional, it's a nice wrinkle on the cornflake.
I like cinnamon in this one though that I'm used to.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know.
She
it's
might
a
mix
mystery,
and I think
and
she
that's
might
part
mix,
of what I love.
She might mix some cinnamon in with the noodles. I mean, this is a old school traditional Jewish cookbook that I'm pretty sure her mother made sure we got for our wedding.
Nice.
And that recipe, hand to God, might be the only thing that's ever been made out of it. But it's she loves it. It is to her what the Blintz souffle is to me. It is the one thing that if it's not there, it's not Breakfast.
Yeah.
Kugel's the one thing that I honestly don't even know if it is at our Breakfast. It doesn't. If it is, it doesn't stand out because we have macaroni and cheese that my dad usually makes, and it's.
You only have room for so much noodles.
Yeah, I mean it's again
No,
it's
noodles,
another just
it's
noodles,
a lot of, it's just another carb dish.
another like noodles and cheese dish, right? Like and it's so that I usually go for that because I don't know if it's my favorite food now, but it used to be growing up my favorite food. So it's just you put it in the oven, it gets crispy on top.
Yeah.
It's really good. So
See, I have a weird thing with and I don't know if it's just the fasting, and maybe I didn't really fast until with the last 15 or so years. It just was never really, at least I don't remember fasting before that. Maybe I did, but I don't feel like I have, sorry, Mom, a lot of like, I don't feel like I have a lot of like youthful memories of Breakfast the same way I do of Passover and Rosh Hashanah and Hanukkah and so many other holidays where I feel like those memories are much more ingrained than Breakfast. Is that similar with you guys?
I'm with you. It's the same thing for me. It changes every year. Yeah. It hasn't been a consistent thing. And that kugel that I'm so in love with is at every holiday for us.
Okay.
It's like the matzo ball soup and brisket, right? Like it's just the quintessential Jewish holiday. Families all together. We have this food. But yeah, the memories I have of Breakfast is like the fasts that were hard and the times I cheated. Bradley's got his tomato soup. So.
yeah, that's the key. No, I really my like childhood memories of Breakfast are really just my dad napping. Like, he just would give up and just take a nap.
Yeah.
He'd also cook the macaroni and cheese, so like it wasn't.
He can't nap that long.
He can't nap that long, but that's for whatever reason. Over the day of the fasting, that's what stands out the most. Sorry, Dad.
That's what I remember too. And then I remember like pre-bar mitzvah, my parents making me food and just reflecting back on that. It's like, damn, like wow, you're sitting there cooking for your kids, but
my favorite thing now, and Matt, you got a while before you get into the stage having a toddler. Is
I got a toddler.
No, you got a while to get out of it. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying is
yeah.
that you still have to make your child food.
Yeah, and snacks, and like they have to eat constantly.
Every 5 minutes they want to
Yeah.
eat, and you can't eat.
Thank God she takes a long nap.
Right. My kids, when your kids get old enough to feed themselves and are self-sustaining that way and then can just plop themselves in front of the TV for a while, it's so much. I mean, look, it's hard enough when you have to cook.
Yeah.
At least you're knowing it's like 5-6 hours later. But when you have to do it for your kid and watch them eat.
And then clean it up. Oh. Yeah, that's going to be the biggest thing is like, she feeds herself, but I got to make it all, but then cleaning it up.
Oh, she feeds herself, and it's a mess. It's everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
See, this is where I feel like the rabbi set up Yom Kippur wrong, and maybe we're going to need rabbinic opinion on this. We're atoning while fasting, but our kids still need us, and we get so mad at the kids that I feel like we have to atone again, but like we have to wait a whole other year.
No, you're still in the process of atoning. It's okay. It happens.
You don't.
Well,
so you're telling me I don't have to wait a year?
Yeah, I'm saying it all counts.
Oh, excellent.
I don't know. I'm not a
No.
rabbi,
We're going with that.
Yeah.
We're going with that. I'm telling my kids. Matt said that I can say I'm sorry, and
It's on the record,
We're
so
covering
you
it.
know.
Rabbi Matt.
It's on a podcast. It matters.
It does not have a ring to it. Yeah, but so Lonnie, you didn't fast growing up.
I didn't.
Brad, you cheat?
Probably.
You missed, could you not make
no,
it at times?
I mean, I think when I was much younger, but I always took it as a challenge and was competitive, with I suppose my past self in that way. And from an early age, I was just like, this is a fun game, and I'm going to do it. Although now I don't fast really anymore.
You used the word fun wrong.
Well, that's why I don't do it anymore.
That's your idea
Rabbi
of
Matt
fun.
says you used the word fun wrong.
I think anybody would say he uses the word fun wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if I fast, it's really just going to be because it's 2 p.m. and I realized I haven't eaten anything anyway, and I'll just, well, screw it. I'll go the other 3-4 hours until we actually eat. But I don't. It doesn't hold the same meaning for me as it used to, I suppose, and so it's not as an important. It's not an important thing.
It's gotten more important for me as the years have gone on. The whole kind of just experience of self-reflection.
Yeah.
And it just adds to that, right? Like, I don't love services. That's not everywhere I've connected with Judaism, but our holidays mark time, and following some of the rituals is just kind of a nice way to mark that. And I don't know. It's a struggle, and that's kind of the point.
And that's a great point. I think I'll probably come around. Like everything, I've kind of gone in multiple circles in terms of do it, not do it, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm in a phase in my life right now, I suppose, where it doesn't hold as much meaning for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think it was 7 years ago or something like that. Was the last time I broke it.
Yeah.
I just had a sandwich for lunch and was like, well, screw it, I'm hungry. And then I stopped. I don't know why. I fasted years before that. It was just that year. And then I think in high school, I had some Cheez-Its. I was hungry. I was in high school.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard to fast. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I think when you're a teenage,
I felt guilty for it, for sure.
When you're a teenage boy, you just want to eat. I mean, it's just food. You're just wanting to eat.
And Cheez-Its were there.
Right.
And they're great.
They're so good.
Cheez-Its, we're looking for sponsors. If you want to sponsor a Yom Kippur episode.
Now that I think more about it, I may actually fast, but it's the kind of thing where it doesn't hold a ton of meaning for me, and I'm just sort of doing it to do it.
Right.
And so I'm sitting here telling you now that, like, I don't remember if I fast or not. Like, talk to me after Yom Kippur, and I'll tell you if I did or not.
See, I think I'm sort of the same way in the fact that I do it maybe more because I know I should do it, and less because I find some sort of introspection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think I do, and maybe that means I'm doing it wrong. And by it, I mean possibly religion. I don't know. I don't think I am. I think there's a lot of ways to do religion. I don't think that's necessarily the wrong way. That's just not. I'm sort of like you, Matt. I don't necessarily find it in synagogue. I don't necessarily find it in fasting. It's sort of there are other ways that I sort of seek and find that kind of thing.
Sure.
It's hard. It's one of those weird existential questions that, I mean, it's part of Judaism, right? And trying to answer that question.
And now back to food. Okay, so Kugel, Blintzes, and Campbell's tomato soup. Are
Bagels.
Bagels. Yeah,
No,
bagels.
Bagels.
Obviously.
Obviously.
The mini ones, though, right? Do you get the mini ones? You get the full-size
No,
bagels?
full-size bagels.
It's always these mini ones.
Where do you get them?
I have no clue because I don't buy them.
Right, because the mini bagel, like, I haven't found. We used
Like
to.
pizza bagels?
That sounds great.
God, I could go for a pizza bagel right now. No, one of the things that we always.
Pizza bagels, we're looking for sponsors.
One of the things we.
Your entire episode.
That's right. One of the places that we had always gotten bagels from, and I think they taste okay. It, honest to God, more out of convenience, the path from Adath back to our house was from Einstein. And Einstein used to have the little bagel bites. And that was
they did. Those were
great because it's the sort of perfect amount of bagel with a ton of cinnamon sugar, for example, all around it. So it's sweet.
Sweet bagels, though, that's a whole other topic. We'll get there in another episode.
We'll get there. That's yes, we have an episode on bagels forthcoming. But you two are the Fancy Dinner Club, and you conducted the highly scientific Twin Cities Best Bagel Survey, in which Rise Bagels came out on top. And it is a question of, are there bagels? Rise is great. Rise is not cheap when you're hosting a lot of people, though.
For sure.
And it becomes sort of a question of, what do you do for bagels then? If you're just looking for food for the sake of food, I mean, there's a lot of places for bagels. There's a lot of grocery store bagels that you could get.
Those refrigerator bagels.
And that might be those mini bagels. I don't know.
I think it probably is.
It probably is.
I think for us, so my Jewish family is all from Duluth originally.
Oh, okay.
And there was this European bakery downtown that closed, I think in like the late 90s or something, and broke everyone in my family's heart. But they always had these mini bagels. So anytime we did a trip up there, we came back with like a bag of these mini bagels. So I think it doesn't matter where they come from. It's just a callback to everybody's memories of that place. I don't even know if that place was good, but we always ate it.
That's the thing right there.
Yeah.
Who knows if it was actually good, but it's the thing we eat.
Yep.
And I think that's sort of, I mean, isn't that how the food memory works?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't know if it's good, but
I mean, there's some
damn
things
if
we
you're
know
not
are
going to
good.
eat it because it's part of your tradition of
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I will find out where they buy the mini bagels.
Ours just come from Brewers, and that's
Brewers is good.
perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no complaints about Brewers.
Breakfast is all about convenience.
Yeah.
It's about convenience and getting as much food into you in as short a period as possible, preferably without making yourself sick.
It's a fine line.
Oh, it's a fine line. It's a fine line. I got to tell you, my biggest problem after a while is not the food or lack thereof. It's what can only be described as, for me at least, the caffeine withdrawal headaches.
I don't have that problem. I don't like coffee. So that's not a problem for me.
You're a better person than me.
I know people that have said that they will drink coffee on while fasting, but will only drink it black because it doesn't count that way or whatever.
The weird
they don't even
rules we
like
make
it
for ourselves.
They told me that, and I was just like, "Well, I drink it black, so
So do I. I'm with you.
doesn't really work for me."
No, that's an interesting carve out somebody created for themselves. I'm not sure how. I don't know what Rabbi Matt thinks about it, but I'm thinking another.
You do you. That's what I got.
I think that's exactly it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end on.
I think that's a great
You do
place to
you.
end on. You do you. We Won Let's Eat, the Jewish food podcast, is a product of Jewfolk Inc. Email the show at podcast@tcjewfolk.com or find Fancy Dinner Club on Instagram at Fancy Dinner Club. Music for the show is from Dan Israel and his new studio album, Social Media Anxiety Disorder. Get more information at danisraelmusic.com.
Another day wakes up.